Welcome to our very first HTML and CSS crash course. This is a beginner-friendly course as you need no or little knowledge of programming to get started. This course was designed for aspiring or new developers in the tech field. In this series, we will teach you the basics of HTML and CSS, which you can then use to build some cool web projects. We will teach you how to set up a local development environment such as code editor where you can write and execute your codes. Also modern HTML5 features, and also create a web page project with HTML and CSS from scratch. So as we said before, you need no prior knowledge of coding to get started in this tutorial. And instead of teaching a separate course for HTML and a separate course for CSS, we have decided to merge this together into a beginner HTML and CSS crash course. So what is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, used to structure contents on a web page. It is not a programming language, but a markup language used in structuring a website using elements represented as tags. These tags define the parts of a web page, such as the headings, the paragraphs, the images, links, and other multimedia contents. You'll see more uses of these HTML tags as we dive in this tutorial. So then, what is CSS? CSS, on the other hand, stands for Cascading Style Sheet. It is used to style the elements in a web page and make them look more presentable. Styling such as colors, animations, aligning elements, and many more. So CSS brings life to the HTML structure with the addition of colors, fonts, spacing, and responsive designs and features. So whenever you visit a website, the layers you see there, the structures you see there, are the work of the HTML. And while the styling such as the color, the hover animations, and all other stylings that makes the web page more beautiful, these are done by the CSS. So HTML and CSS are not programming languages, but they are the building blocks of web development. So we decided to bring this beginner crash course to you to guide your web development journey. So before we get started into coding, we need to set up our local development environment. What I mean by this is installing a text editor, a code editor, where we can write our codes and execute them. So the code editor we're going to be using in this tutorial is the Visual Studio Code Editor developed by Microsoft. So as you can see it here, the visualstudio.com, you can see how to the different versions for installation. So this is the code editor we're going to be using for this tutorial. So if you do not have it, you can go as well as installing this code editor on your machine. We have a separate tutorial where we have shown how to install this Visual Studio Code and set it up on our local machine. So I will leave the link in the description below and you can find it easily. You can as well use any code editor of your choice, which is any preferable to you. You can use any one of your choice. So there are other code editors such as the Atom text editor, and you can get that from atom.io, and also the PyCharm. This is mainly used by Python developers, but you can also use to code your HTML and your CSS, and also the Sublime Text and many more other code editors. But for this tutorial, we're going to be using the Visual Studio Code. So I will advise to install the Visual Studio Code so you can do exactly what I do in this tutorial. So we can just go ahead to download for your operating system. So you can see for here, this is the Mac OS version, the Windows version, and the Linux version. As I said, we have already provided a tutorial for this installation, so you can just check it in the description below. So next, after setting up our code editor where we can write our code, we also need a modern browser where we can preview our code. So I would prefer you to use the Chrome browser, which you can use for your Windows on your Mac, or you can also use the Firefox browser. These two browsers come with a lot of features and a lot of tools for developers. So I advise you use any of these for this tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to be using the Chrome browser. So if you want to use same, you can do so. If you want to go for the Firefox, you can do so. If you also have a browser of your choice, you can also use that to preview, but for this tutorial, I am suggesting these two browsers. So now I guess you've already installed the Visual Studio Code editor on your machine, and when you click on it to open up, you're going to see this welcome page. You can just get rid of it or you can leave it like so. So next we're going to open our project folder. We're going to be creating our project files. So I'm going to show you how to do that in a bit. So you can go to this open folder or you can just navigate to the Explorer and open up a folder. Now choose a folder from your repos, and I'm gonna go with this folder, HTML codes. Select folder, and as you can see, we have this folder open up on our VS Code. So the next thing we have to do is to create a HTML file. We can write our HTML code. So how to do that is to navigate over here. You can see an option for new file, and yes, for new folder. So you can click on new file, and here I'm gonna give it a name of index.html. So every HTML file ends with the extension .html. So this is the file we're going to be creating. As you can see, this logo shows that this is a HTML file, and all I have to do is just to hit enter, and now this is opened up on our code editor, so we can just get rid of this welcome platform. So as I said earlier, HTML uses elements represented as tags, and these tags are a series of stuff that help to structure the web page. So I'm going to show you how to define these tags in your HTML file. So the first thing you want to do when you start coding your HTML file is to define a document type. So I'm going to show you how to do that. All you have to do is the angle brackets, the exclamation mark, and you can see we have this autocomplete feature in VS Code. That's why I suggested this code editor for beginners, and you can hit enter. And this just tells the browser that this is a document type and this is a HTML. The doc type is HTML, so this is a HTML document. So all you have to do before you start coding, just do the doc type HTML, and next we're going to define the HTML tag. And as you notice, whenever I define a tag, the code editor automatically closes, then brings up the closing tag for me. So this is also a cool feature of the VS Code. So this HTML tag just signifies the directory where we're going to be implementing all our HTML code. It contains all other features such as the body, the head, and all the rest. So all you have to do now is hit enter. I'm going to give a little bit of space, and here I'm going to do the head tag. So let's go with the head tag. So the head tag contains links and metadata and title of the web page. So whenever you go to any web page, you can see here, take the word.net. This is the title, and this is all rendered inside the head tag. So I'm going to show you how to do that in a bit. But before then, let us define the body tag. So the next we're going to do is to define the body tag, and this is the body of the HTML file. This contains every information you see on the web page. So the navigation bar, the layouts, the side nav, and every other things are contained inside the body tag. So the doc type defines the document type, which is a HTML document, and this is the HTML tag, which includes both the heading tag and the body tag. And the heading tag contains the linkings, the metadata, and all the rest. And the body contains the contents of the web page. So inside the body now, we can put some content inside the body. So we can do a h1 tag. So don't worry, I will explain all about these HTML tags in the next video. But here I'm going to show you just a brief introduction to the tags. So I'm going to say hello world. And I'm going to also do a p tag. So there are loads of different tags. So I'm going to say learning HTML. I'm gonna save this file. Now at the moment we have just written this HTML code. We want to preview this in the browser. How do we go about that? So this is where the live server extension comes in handy. So we're going to install an extension in the VS Code live server which helps us to preview our codes in the browser. So all you have to do is to go over here to the extensions and you can search for live server. And you can see I have it already installed on my machine, so it's just showing uninstall. So for you it will be showing install. All you have to do is click on the install and this is going to install the live server for you. So going back to the file, I'm going to get rid of this. To preview this code using the live server extension, all you have to do is to right click and here you can see open with live server. So I'm gonna click on open with live server and you can see we have that HTML file here. You can see hello world and the learning HTML. So this is the h1 tag, also known as the heading tag, and this is the p tag, also called the paragraph tag. So by the way, you do not have to memorize all these tags and how to place them in this HTML file, but I'm going to show you how to do this automatically. VS Code has a feature that allows us to do that. So instead of typing this manually, doc type HTML heading and all this stuff, all you have to do is let's get rid of this. And all I have to do now is this exclamation mark, and I'll hit tab or enter, and automatically VS Code brings out all the necessary tags we need for this HTML file. So as you can see, we have a doc type here, the HTML, it says language, English, and we have the heading tag. So do not bother about all this. I'm gonna show you what it signifies. And here is the heading tag. As you can see, the metadata and the title are all in the heading tag, and here is the body, so which we can also start writing our codes on h5 hello. I have to refresh this. You can see hello. So this is a more modern way of doing this. Just the exclamation mark and enter, and this is going to bring up this HTML template. And moreover, this is the title, and the title at this moment says document. So let's change the title. You can see HTML tutorial, and let's save it and let's preview on our browser. And you can see over here it says HTML tutorial. So this all goes into the heading tag. So next I'm going to show you a cool feature which comes with these modern browsers, and that is the inspect elements feature. So this is our web page and we have this h5 tag that we just put this hello inside of it. So we can inspect this element by just right clicking on our browser, and we can click on inspect, and you can see this nav by the right, and here we can inspect our code. So you can see over here this is a hello and it says it is a h5. So this is cool if you want to inspect your code and fix some stuffs and all the rest. Or you can if you visit any browser, any web page, and right click, you can see the code. Forget about this script tag here. This is code injected by the live server, but this is the HTML5 code you wrote. So you can just preview any website code like this, and you can try to recreate that code or use it in a very good way as you can. So that will be all for this video one of our HTML playlist, and I'm just gonna give you a brief summary of what we just did in this video. So we started with the HTML explanation. We said what HTML was. It stands for hypertext markup language, used to structure elements on the web page. So elements such as this on our web page. And we also went to talk about the CSS, the cascading style sheet, used to style elements on the web page. For now, we have no styling on this web page, but as we dive in deep in this tutorial, we're gonna see more of that. Also went on to choosing a code editor and choosing a modern browser. So we installed the VS Code editor, and we talked about using the Chrome browser or the Mozilla Firefox. Next, we created the HTML5 file using the VS Code editor we just installed. And then we talked about the tags and how to use them in our code. So next, we also showed how to preview our code on the browser. So we installed the live server extension to help us achieve these tasks. And lastly, we showed how to inspect elements on the web page. So that will be all for this tutorial, tutorial one, not just this first tutorial in this series. So the next video, we're gonna talk more on HTML5 tags. If you're new to this channel, please like and subscribe to this channel so you can get amazing contents that will be coming up in the future.